Hello watchers, and welcome back. You can watch any of these perspective theory videos out of order because they just cover the scenes in the movies, but if you want to get Rexy's story from the beginning, click on the card above. This video is based on the Tyrannosaurus Rex's perspective after she got out from her enclosure in Jurassic Park. Rexy exited her enclosure and looked for shelter. She didn't know the first place to go. She'd never been out here before. She took a minute to look around. She walked a few feet away and then returned to the entrance of her enclosure to get her bearings. The rain was a nuisance, and suddenly she heard something in the distance. Other roaring noises. Aha, food. Rexy listened as hard as she could to see if she could detect where it was coming from through the pitter-patter of the rain. Right there and then, there was an annoying moving thing to her right. She looked, and it was a small ray of light. Oh no, Rexy thought. The humans made those lights come off from their bodies at night. The humans made the barrier sing. They put her behind that barrier, and there was no way she was going back. She went towards it, knowing there would be a human nearby. She came close to the other vehicle with the kids inside, only she didn't know at first the light was coming from in there. Rexy had no reason to believe it was, because the men that used those lights were always outside. Rexy was trying her best to look around to locate the human carrying that light. No luck. Did it just disappear into thin air? Creepy. Rexy wasn't crazy. She knew that she saw that moving light, and the light was always attached to a moving human. She stared long and hard into the distance, trying to keep quiet so she could locate where the noise was coming from. Suddenly, there was a loud slam to her right that scared the crap out of her. What the hell was that? Okay, the metal box just moved by itself. Rexy's heart beat faster. Something was not right, and she felt as though she was in danger. But then she came to a realization. It wasn't moving anymore, but the beam of light was definitely coming from inside this big metal thing. She stooped down lower to look into the light. These lights were usually attached to humans, but she was confused. How was a light coming through this metal thing? Is the human... Wait. As she looked inside of it, it was very hard to see. It was so strange because she could see the light coming through this solid object, but nothing else was. Totally annoyed and confused, Rexy let out a frustrating roar that said, "Go away." Rexy did not want to admit this to herself, but she was actually freaked out. Lights move without humans attached to them and go through solid objects? Maybe it hadn't been such a good idea to break out from her enclosure. She looked back at the Explorer, and there, movement. Yes, she saw it. There were two things inside there. How did they get in there? And how were they able to make the light go through the object? Was beside Rexy, but she found the culprits. Were they stalking her? Yes, they were. They want to put her back inside her enclosure. Hey, Rexy yelled out. She nudged the SUV to get the humans to bolt, but they stayed put inside the metal box. She had to get them out. These stupid things think they're stronger than she is, but what they don't realize is that she's out and free now, and nothing can get in her way. The annoying frantic light traveled to the top of the SUV, and Rexy's gaze followed suit. Wait, thought Rexy. I can see them clearly through the top of the metal box. The light can go through it. If the light can go through it and they got in there somehow, that means I can go through it too. Rexy was cheeky and took a chance, smashing her mouth down through the glass top, which gave way. Rexy was confused. She went through it, but she still couldn't get to these humans. How is it that she couldn't reach them through this thing? The top is broken now. No worries. Rexy knew that since the top was open, that means the humans can now spill out. She pressed all of her weight up against the car and shoved. The thing turned upside down. She could hear the humans screaming inside. Their screams made her giddy. She wanted to rip them apart and hear them scream as she did it. The metal box was upside down. She never thought to try attacking it from here. It should be soft. She bit down and it was more armored here too. No soft spot, except one. Rexy went for the wheel, and when she realized it was soft, she bit down harder and chewed. The metal box cried out. Was she hurting it? Was the metal box... Wait, the metal box seems to be alive when the humans are inside it, or maybe they can feel her biting it. Maybe the metal box is a part of them when they're inside it. Oh, whatever, no matter. She was going to kill them anyway. Hey! Something yelled out, directly in front of Rexy. Rexy almost crapped herself at the human that suddenly manifested itself in front of her. What was happening? It had a light too, but this light was different. The human waved the light to and fro until Rexy became mesmerized with it. Suddenly, it flew to the left with lightning speed. In that moment, Rexy forgot everything that had previously happened, and her attention was completely engulfed by this weird sparkling red light. She had to see what it was. T-Rexes are simple creatures. They can only ever focus on one thing at a time, and right now, this flare took up all of Rexy's attention. There, the flare manifested itself again, and Rexy was mesmerized once more. However, she noticed that there was something moving alongside it. It was human. He was blending with the darkness that she hardly recognized it. Her instincts went into overdrive, and she saw the bigger threat. The flare flew away to one side, but she was already so enraptured with the running human that she had to go after it. She launched for the man called Ian Malcolm, and suddenly he disappeared. Rexy was becoming very irate. These magic tricks were getting on her nerves. She had to think to herself, when I crossed the barrier to be free, did I enter into a world that behaves completely different than the one that I knew? How is it that lights can go through solid objects? Why are humans suddenly appearing before me when they weren't there before? What are these red sparkly things? Where did the human go? Is any of this real? Rexy felt as though she was going insane, and then the little shack that was right in front of her all of a sudden disappeared as well, and in its place was a tiny human sitting on a rock. In Rexy's mind, it looked as though the little tiny shack transformed into the human. That was it. In a fit of rage, Rexy lunged at the human and thrashed it around. "Stop it! Stop tormenting me!" she thought as she swung him back and forth. When it was over and the human was lifeless, she swallowed the piece of him still in her mouth and headed back in the direction of the vehicle she was attacking. She wanted this night to end. As she was walking warily past the car, she heard a shrill cry like before. Rexy stopped and listened. The rain, her eyes, she didn't know what was real or not. Where did that scream come from? Rexy listened intently. She spun the vehicle around to see if it would make the noise again. No noise. But wait. The Tyrannosaurus Rex remembered something. Wasn't the reason she was attacking this thing because there were humans inside of it? Were they still inside of it? If she turned it over, then, well, she checked underneath to see if there was still a human under there. Surely enough, there was when she heard it crying out. She now realized that's where the source of the noises were coming from. Why didn't the stupid thing run away when it had the chance? She tried getting to it. She didn't want to turn over the vehicle again because then it would escape. So she took her time and tried to stick her nose underneath there as much as she could, but by doing that, her weight was pushing the SUV over the cliff into her enclosure. Rexy tried to grab it before it fell, but it was too late. The metal box with the human inside were gone. In her mind, they just disappeared from before her very eyes. Rexy roared in madness, thinking that she was just in a really bad dream. She wanted it to stop. She walked away from the area and into the trees in the distance, trying to seek shelter from the rain. The rain still fell through onto her skin, but it was a lot better than being right out into the open. Rexy found a place with the thickest canopy and laid down for a quick second. Maybe she rested and woke back up, all of this would be over. This was not the dream she envisioned for herself. She walked around the forested area just crying in anguish. When was this nightmare going to end? When was the rain going to end? Rexy wanted to sleep. She was stooping down, but then she heard noises. Human noises. She followed the noise and saw two figures darting to and fro with those frantic lights she saw before. Rexy was mad. She wanted to kill these demons from whatever hell they came from. They suddenly got into a metal box and took off. "Come back here," Rexy yelled. "You want to torture me? Then stay and torture me. Don't run. This is what you want, right? You want to see me angry?" Rexy caught up to them and tried to turn over the Jeep they were riding in, but they were too fast. Rexy got tired and could feel her legs aching. She slowed down until the humans all escaped. Rexy could not even fathom how angry she was. She retreated back into the forest. At least it wasn't raining anymore. As she got to the thick canopy, her legs suddenly gave out from under her, and she collapsed, passing out into a thick slumber. So that was Rexy's point of view for the scene with the kids in the SUV. If you guys want to see more, then check out our playlist full of point of view theories. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Alteori. You ask, we answer.